life really be like? Or better yet, what should life be like when government finally lifts restrictions during the so-called Enhanced Community Quarantine or ECQ to combat the COVID-19 pandemic? The responses of those we asked are the center of this week's Motoring Forum.
The question drew some wacky and some serious responses. After all, Filipinos are known for falling back on humor amidst adversity. We called some of them, and we leave it to you, our viewers, to decide whether the suggestions are more wacky and bordering on wishful thinking than serious. First off, some see fewer cars on the road during transition to normalcy, and even well into the new normal. One factor into this thinking is that working from home will no longer be the exception, but part of the rule. Even before the pandemic, communication and most of the work in most companies take place online or on digital platforms. Another is possible shorter work weeks and or staggered work shifts to avoid crowded workplaces. There will also be fewer people who will be driving to the supermarket or malls after discovering the joys of ordering for supplies online. Personal shoppers will be a sunshine occupation. Meanwhile, online and homeschooling, because parents fear the petri dish for germs and viruses that is the school, would mean less need for school buses. And after discovering that mountain ranges can be viewed from within Metro Manila after the pandemic, many will also be wishing to leave home and look for alternative forms of personal mobility to fossil fuel-powered vehicles. The alternative for personal mobility? Would you believe bicycles and electric scooters? Nurses and even doctors were borrowing or were lent pedal-driven bikes to get to and from frontline duties during the ECQ. Bicycle and scooter enthusiasts took advantage of the ECQ to extol the use and convenience of two-wheeled transport. Further, the more enthusiastic and optimistic two-wheel advocates propose a network of streets in the metro exclusively for them, enhanced community bike lanes if you will. Some see elevated bike lanes as a part of the network, which they argue should be cheaper, quicker, and less troublesome to build than elevated tollways for four-wheeled and more vehicles. A wackier response is that Filipinos have rediscovered the neglected form of personal mobility, walking. Many took to walking to buy necessities during the quarantine period. As for mass transport, some are optimistic that the Department of Transportation's initiative and experience to efficiently organize free bus ride routes for frontliners during the ECQ would give it the confidence to finally enforce plans to make it mandatory for bus operators to strictly follow schedules and loading and unloading zones. This, as well as the push to continue construction of light rail projects even during the ECQ, would help the Metro's mass transportation system catch up with the demand. All these look like wishful thinking, according to others who don't believe there are enough right-minded private motorists, commuter, government planner, bus and jeepney transport operators that would tip the balance from chaotic and unsafe to orderly and disciplined traffic, even after the shock of transformational pandemic. These pessimists expect to sing "Deja vu, what else is new?" even in the new normal of post-pandemic society.
People's views and responses into the new normal in transportation. Our feature this week on Motoring Today's Motoring Forum, brought to you by Suzuki Philippines.